Welcome back. More Final Girl here for you. We have Slaughter in the Groves today. This one, I haven't had a chance to play it at all yet, so this is all new to me. I just read through the rules to take a look, see what's going on here. BGG has this to say about it. Ta-da! All the pertinence right here on your screen for you from boardgamegeek.com. Looks, just as good as all the rest of them. They all seem to have very good 8-something ratings, high 7s, I think. Maybe it might be the lowest one even. I don't even remember now. They're all good. So we have 2 new final girls in this. We have Barbara. You got to have a Barbara in a game like this, right? So we have Barbara, who has 7 hit points. That's pretty amazing. And it looks like she can reduce the horror by 1. She can gain 2 time, heal herself, take any top item card. That's cool. That's really cool. And move 1 space. And then Adelaide here, who might be my new favorite final girl heroine here. Look at this. She has 6 hit points, but she can increase time by 2 twice and reduce the horror once, 2 times, and move. Those are the best things. So I'm really digging that. As far as special abilities go, let's see. Barbara here. Victims will move into the killer's space with you. That's amazing. When you damage an enemy in your space, you may do an additional damage for each victim present. For each additional damage done, a victim is killed. Do not increase bloodlust for victims killed in this way. And then for each additional victim saved, gain 1 time, it looks like. Wow. That's pretty powerful stuff. And Adelaide here, hers is all kinds of crazy. Choose one of the following immediate effects. Decrease 1 type of wrath to 1. And so we'll get into the wrath in a minute here. That's either the divine wrath or the killer wrath. Recover all hit points. Take up to 6 cost worth of action cards into your hand. Wow, that's nice. I like immediate effect. I don't have to futz around with anything. Just boom. What do I need? And I can take it right then and there. That's pretty great. I wanted to show the art on the box and the outside of the box for these. These are the magnetic lids for the box for this feature film, right? The art on these are fantastic. And this flap, this is magnetized as well, so it sits like this, and then this side fits like that, and they snap together to keep all your bits and pieces together. This is the killer, Inkanyamba, right here. We got 4 horror to start, 9 hit points. A pretty normal looking track so far, huh? What do you think? And then the Sacred Groves, that's the location. You can see, I wonder if this works better. Here you can see, well, minus some of the green screen funny business here. But you can see there's some red places on the map here now. The Holy Groves, the Sacred Shrine, the Burial Ground, and these have their own little special icon, that red like mask icon you can see there. Those are sacred sites. These are places that tourists shouldn't be messing around. And of course, as usual, it has 3 different places where you can find some gear. The Welcome Center, Lost and Found, and the Groundskeeper's Shed. That is pretty cool. Very well connected, too, I might add. Some of these places, like Elm Street, are a little bit of a maze to get through. You can't, not every house lets out onto the street in 2 different ways. They only let out onto to weird angles, one side of the street. Pretty cool. So this is very exciting because it has a bit of rules overhead in this one here. It has a little bit that you have to do. One of the things in the Sacred Groves is you have the Divine Wrath. That's this card right here. Let me show you what this madness is. During setup of this, it starts at level 2. So you can see that says -2 time. And every time you trigger the yellow lightning bolt unleash action, we'll get to that in a second here, you get to trigger these nasty effects. And so that's where you get this little sideboard here comes into play as well. Look at how nasty that is. Okay, so this tag teams with this board over here so that you know that bad stuff happens every time you go up that track on the bloodlust meter, not just like, notice there's no horror on there, right? Like every other killer we've fought so far had horror on here. This is damage and how fast and far they walk. This, because you could use it with any character here, any killer in the Sacred Groves will tag alongside there. And so it lines up with this. So bad stuff happens every single time. And you'll see here, like, second from the top here, well, and like third from the bottom, say, unleash, and has a little yellow lightning bolt. Well, if you're unleashing the Divine Wrath, then you're looking at this chart here, and all kinds of bad stuff can happen to you. So one can imagine the terror cards come into play at this point, right? We have, let's take a look at some of these here. So the short stack here with these 8, these are the Sacred Grove cards, and there's I think 8 of these on here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a whole fat pile of Inkanyamba cards. Look at that. Look at that. There's a lot. Oh, no. I don't even know how many there are. I don't have that. Oh, yeah, I do. I do have that. There's 16 here. So there's an awful lot of terror cards for Inkanyamba. You have your usual set of item cards, event cards, setup cards. You've got 4 different... No, I think this one doesn't come with this. The Epic Finale doesn't come. So you get 3 Finale cards, and you get 4 Dark Power cards, including that Epic Dark Power card that comes with it. And then everything forward here. So, I mean, the rules are pretty straightforward. The rules really for this place are, attach this to it. Oh, and then there's this little nasty guy here. Because you have this whole other, these 2 cards, the Killer Wrath and Divine Wrath cards, because you have those, you have this additional thing to tack on to whoever your killer is. So once the finale is unleashed here, once you get to the finale and you flip that card, you will also add this little thing to it, which has unleash and then increase the Divine Wrath tracker by 1. That's how you can play the different, killers in this place, right? So you would just tack it on like that. So you have all kinds of extra bad stuff happening to you in this. So now, I think we're going to cover one last thing. There's really not anything special as far as like the setup goes. I mean, the setup is the only special thing. But the actual gameplay is pretty straightforward here. It's mainly just looking out for all that, lightning bolt stuff, right? So the killer here has the red one, the Inkanyamba. And there are the atonement cards. These are not spoiler territory here. So these, kind of like on the Maple Lane feature film, has its own special card. This here is what you can, to get into the homes. I think it was called Convince. This is Atonement, and this is how you're going to lower these hateful tracks right here. Because as you can see, they ramp up in difficulty. You get all kinds of bad stuff here if you've really made everybody angry. Why would you have made everybody angry, you may ask? Because you're tramping around on the Sacred Groves. Let's read the story, and then we're gonna take a look at some of these cards here. We're gonna do a little bit of just looking at what's in the item deck and whatnot. Some people may consider this, spoiler territory. They want to go in completely blind. I completely get it, but I like to look at these cards to know what I'm up against because it's kind of fun. Plus, you can look up stuff on Board Game Geek on the forums, find out if there's some tricky interactions or whatever ahead of time. So let's take a look at the Sacred Groves first. The gods are furious over the desecration of their sacred places by idiotic, obnoxious tourists. They've forged an unholy pact with the killer, unleashing their wrath upon you and the oblivious victims in an attempt to cleanse the groves with blood and fire. As you fight to survive against the killer's onslaught, you'll need to simultaneously contend with the fury of the gods, represented by divine wrath. And that's this here, right? So this is where you get into trouble when you start bringing in, Hans, the poltergeist, or whoever into this place. But for Inkanyamba, whoever Inkanyamba used to be, or where he came from, no longer matters. He has taken for himself the name of the legendary monster and has become a creature of pure wrath. His sole purpose is to exact vengeance on those around him, even if he long ago forgot the reasons for that vengeance. In order to overcome him, you will need to manage his ever-rising anger, represented by Killer Wrath. If it boils over, you will never survive the ensuing onslaught. And that's this card here. These are, for those of you who are sleevers, tarot-sized sleeves. They fit perfectly fine. And so, yeah, that gets real nasty really fast if you make him angry. So you won't like him when he's angry, I guarantee that. Okay. So now's a good time to cut if you're not wanting to see what some of these cards are, but I am very curious to see what some of these cards are. Let's take a look at the setup cards here. So the setup cards, the Family Day, Dueling Tour Guides, Mob O Tourists, Warship Service, and Swamp Thing. Again, I love how thematic every single thing is in this game. It's crazy they did such a good job on this. It's just like, man, they nailed all of this. horror movie vibe stuff. So there's our setup cards, right? So you can see the sacred sites are marked in red there. So some of them just flat out start with dudes there. You got victims running all over the place. All right, so that's cool. I love the variable setups. I love it. I think it's great. Some of these event cards. Oh no, I just splashed the whole pot. Let's see. There we go. All right, what do we have? The gods hate failure. The tour. Oh, see, right, and you have those different colored meeples, right? So they're all special. So this one has a tour guide. The gods hate failure. Loud and obnoxious. This must be people, right? Let's see. Whenever, yeah, right. So this is whenever the divine wrath increases, it gains an additional one. Flash photography. Whenever at least one victim in your space panics, discard one random action card. Unholy bloodshed. Hallowed ground. What on earth is this? Roll a die and place the hallowed ground token on the. And so it goes to either one of the three red places here. Anytime you end the action phase in that space, gain 2 time. Oh, wow. Fire and Brimstone. The Holy Man. This is the special blue meeple. This has a whole bunch of text on it. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on there, and it probably won't focus properly, of course. The Uber Tourist. Oh, man, there's the white meeple, and then this one just says, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of text on some of these cards. Closed for maintenance. As far as some of the gear that we get goes, yeah, this is going to be wildly different stuff. A tribal mask, the War Club. Look at that. It only does 1 damage, though. Whenever you inflict damage with the War Club, choose the Divine Wrath or Killer Wrath. I had those backwards. And decrease it by the damage inflicted. Hey, that's super cool, though. Right? Look, we got an air horn. There's a whip. The old standby trash can lid. I think that's been in every scenario, right? There's incense. Out of order signs. Oh, man. I don't want to read through them just yet. I just kind of want to flip through the stuff. There's a map. I think we saw a map at the camp, an aluminum bat. That sounds familiar. Pepper spray sounds familiar. First aid, mysterious pills, the shaman's bones. Oh, that's like reading the bones. You can peek ahead at the card. That's cool. A ceremonial dagger, a rifle, the energy drink. You got to have that. You got to have the energy drink and a prayer book. Oh, that's super cool. Okay, all right. That one says when you play Atonement, add 1 success to your roll. That is awesome. And then, oh, you know what? I never went over the little. I mean, not that I'm going over much here. There's a unfocused picture of the minis, but yeah, I pulled out the minis so you could take a look at some of these. That's the Inkanyamba. I love they have their names on the bottom there, so you know exactly what you're looking at. That's super cool. That is super cool. This must be Barbara. Here's Barbara and Adelaide. Right? Yep. There we are. They don't show up so well. I wonder. Maybe that looks better. Nope, still nice and out of focus, but these minis are super tiny. Look at these dice, right? Look at these. They're crazy. Oh, man. All right. They're pretty neat, though. I mean, I don't know if I'd be able to paint them. They're so small, but they're pretty cool to have. And a mess of tarot cards. Wrath of Death, right? So if we take a look at that one, so it says Unleash, right? The killer wrath. And so that would be whatever level you are on this card is going to have something really bad happen to you. Wrath of Opportunity. There's another one. Unleash Wrath. Increase Wrath. Oh, man. Yeah. And then, kind of a standard looking card here. And then, I don't know how, but I've angered him. Here's more bad stuff. There's a lot of these cards in here that, oh my gosh, what is this? That one's got, oh geez, do the following based on the current level. Oh man, yeah, that's gnarly. So then it looks like, our dark powers, Outrageaholic. Oh man, that's, gets angrier faster. Boiling anger. There's more. Fickle temper. They disrespected him and now he wants their blood. Yeah, there's some amazing stuff in here. Wrath of Defilers, Fickle Temper. I think we saw that one. Some of these might be duplicates. I don't know. But there's some good stuff in here. And then once we get to the Sacred Grove ones, Fury of the Gods. Oh man, yeah, look at all this mess. There's a whole lot of bad going on here. Can't wait to try it out. Every single one of these feature films from Van Ryder Games for Final Girl has been absolutely phenomenal. Just so much fun, so much so many close, exciting moments where you either almost pull it off or you don't, and that's part of the charm of this, this game is that it's very, very horror movie like, and I think that pretty much covers what's in that box. Not really a whole lot of rules overhead this time. I thought it would be more complicated. It's just a whole lot of extra stuff where bad stuff can happen to you because not a single one of these is any good, right? Like there is no gain time or whatever on here. There is no take a card for free. So it's just ouch the whole time. Okay, well, let's get this to the table here. Let's get this cleaned up and set up and see what we can find out.